said, I'm a content creator. I work for Mudhole. I do all of our social medias across the board. Now we're going to introduce our wonderful panelists, starting with Anastasia.
Hey y'all, I am Anastasia Patterson. I'm from South Carolina. I am a tournament angler. I fish the Bassmaster Opens as well as some Bass Nation and the Major League Fishing Toyota Series. And I fish in college at Presbyterian College. Before I could even walk, I literally was fishing, and it's just always been a part of my life. It's my second year speaking on the panel. And I kind of am a micro influencer. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily the best influencer out there, but my purpose for being an influencer is to educate, to help conservation and restoration of our wetlands and our resources, and then also to just have fun, and also for the sake of promotion, to promote in a positive light for the companies that I work with.
Now Katie Jo.
Hey guys, my name is Katie Jo. Some of you may know me as Pluff Mud Princess. A lot of times you're like, who's Katie Jo? Who's Pluff Mud Princess? We are the same person, I promise. So I actually do social media marketing, advertising full time. I work with a lot of these amazing companies here on the show floor already. I also do, just kind of from my background of, I didn't have that dad or brother or uncle to teach me how to fish. The opportunity, unfortunately, my dad passed away very young. There was never the opportunity to get out there and learn and to be involved with fishing. Found it later in my teenage years, and it was just something that felt so natural for me, not only a way to get out on the water and enjoy it as all of you do now, but also a way to connect back to my dad, who would have been that mentor for me. And so with doing social media the past 4 years, working with amazing companies, meeting other amazing anglers, it kind of drove me to have this realization that, like, hey, fishing is for everybody, right? But the opportunity to learn should be as well. So I'm very blessed over the last year to be able to independently own and operate fishing education classes down in Charleston, South Carolina for women, youth, co-ed, anybody that really wants to get involved and felt like they never had the position or opportunity to. So Charleston, South Carolina local, very, very appreciative to be here, and this is my first time on the panel, so thank you.
Hello, I'm Patricia Clement. This is my second time on the panel, and I've only been in the outdoor industry for 3 years. I'm originally a city girl from Brooklyn, New York, who explored the outdoors a few years ago and fell in love. Like, I'm all in it. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm so thankful that you all came to hear us speak.
Hi guys, I am Snookie Fishing. Some of you know me as Tiffany as well. It's my real name. But my whole story came back from 2014. I lost my papa, and my papa was very much my best friend. So I dealt with a grief period in my early 20s that I honestly didn't know how to maneuver. And so nature was kind of my way of coping with that. And I went back to fishing, and honestly back to the pond that my papa taught me how to fish on. So that's kind of what got me started into fishing, and then I just turned it into a way to memorize my papa and think of him. So now anytime someone calls me Snookie, I think of my grandfather. So now with all of that, I've mixed it with a little bit of my marketing background from college, and it's taken off, and I'm very blessed and thankful to be here.
Awesome. Thank you guys. As you guys know, we're at the influencer panel, and the word influencer sort of has a bad rap, I think, from the early days of social media. People kind of having a large following and making a lot of money doing almost nothing. People think they just sit at home. But now you know from hearing from everyone, these are just real people. Like, we have real lives, but we have online lives too. And the definition of influencer is a person or thing that influences. And for your brand or company, that's beneficial to you because you have an outside person able to influence someone and use their audience to come buy your product in your store, which is the goal with this, with hiring an influencer, either to sell your product or raise brand awareness. So all of us influencers started in different places. You as a brand don't have to try to do everything at once by any means. As Alan said, I did TikTok. I started with just TikTok and grew that for about a year, and then transitioned into taking over all of our company's social medias. I want to hear from the panelists about where you guys started on what platform, starting with Anastasia.
Perfect. So I kind of started on a lot of different platforms all at one time, from Facebook to Twitter. I was like a kid when MySpace came out, and I kind of did fishing stuff on there, and even YouTube that no longer exists, hopefully, out there. But now I mostly operate on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. My TikTok is more so going to be just fun content, and my Facebook is definitely more so for education, so I'm using each platform for the purpose of the audience that I have on there.
So I actually got started on TikTok. I know a lot of people are like, ooh, TikTok. So about 2 years ago, TikTok was the place to be, right? I know a lot of us, still utilize TikTok to this day. When I started TikTok, it was not anything that I thought I'd be on a panel and speaking to you all today. It was really, I was a single mom, I had a new baby, I couldn't get on the water, and I wanted a way to connect with other people, not knowing it would be other anglers who also shared the love of the water like me. But it's kind of just grown from there, and that's really what it's all about, creating that community, creating those audiences, those people that follow you because they love what you do just as much as you do. So TikTok is where I started. I'm very grateful to be here and kind of go from there as well.
Being new to the industry, I started on my personal Facebook page, and then once I decided to brand myself as Rivah Sistah, I started a TikTok. Once I started TikTok, I started getting followers and found out I can get paid, but most of the money was on Instagram. Then I started Instagram.
So I actually started on Instagram as well. I was teaching leadership and development courses and coordinating that for a client, and during those meetings we would have to stand up and introduce ourselves, and I'm very introverted, so that was a little bit overwhelming for me. So one of the things that I would tell everyone is although I'm in a business suit and I'm very professional helping make sure that you guys are successful, I love to get muddy, get outdoors, get bitten by mosquitoes and have a good time. And so they didn't believe me, which was kind of funny, but I ended up deciding to make a visual profile, and so Instagram was the way that I did that, and that has since grown to help connect me to amazing girls like these.
That's awesome. So just like us, you as a business owner do not have to start with everything. That can be very intimidating. There's so many platforms nowadays, and it feels like every week there's a new platform coming out. You can start simple, just on Instagram, just on TikTok, just on Facebook, wherever you think your target demographic is. And we'll talk a little bit later about how hiring an influencer can be the most beneficial and easy way to start. But right now, we'll talk about what it looks like to either hire an influencer, contract out for your content, or hire someone in-house, or find someone you already employ to do your content. So I work in-house, and that looks like 5 days a week, me going in, shooting content, getting with the people around the building, interacting with our pro staff and our fishermen that we sponsor, and creating that content, mostly on my phone, but a lot on the computer now too, and then distributing that content as well. Now, most of our panelists here are influencers. I'd like you to talk about your experience being contracted by a company and creating either one post, a campaign, or a long-term relationship with that company.
Perfect. So as a tournament angler, obviously mine's a little different than just being an influencer on a certain platform, that sort of thing. I have like a boat wrap, a truck wrap, all of that sort of goes along with being a rolling billboard for all of the people that I work with. I have the pleasure of working with some of the best companies in the industry, in my opinion. But kind of what that looks like. So for social media purposes, a lot of times content is very important, but doing well in a tournament is very important to my sponsors, and using the products is probably the most important thing to me. There's no purpose in paying someone to do something who doesn't believe in your product, so I try to only work with companies that I believe in, use their products from day dot, and if it's some company you're trying to form a relationship with, be real in doing that, because there are lots of people out there who say, hey, I want to help you, grow your brand, but for me, I want long-term relationships. I think almost all of my sponsors know they're like my family. I can call them at any time of the day about anything that happens when I'm on the road and that sort of thing. Now there are people, they're mostly non-endemic, so people not in the fishing industry that I do work with on other platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, where I'm posting, hey, we're going to send you this product, and if you could just make 1, 2, 3 posts, that sort of thing. But that is not something that I'm necessarily looking for from the tournament side. I want people that I'm going to be with all year long for years to come, so that I can have proper knowledge of their product. But also, I'm sure you know, if you are a tournament angler, that if you had to change your rods every week, I spend a lot of time on the road, a lot of time away from home, so it's kind of more comfortable. I know that might not be the best term, but comfortable to be with someone that you trust in versus always changing people out for me.
Great answer. So with getting into social media, and I'm sure as far as most of you kind of have some experience, there's a few avenues that you can go as far as working with people in the social media industry. As Jake mentioned, you have the influencers, you have the contracting out, you have the in-house. And I'm sure most of you know, when you start talking about social media, especially to some of the old school anglers, they're like, oh yeah, you post videos and photos, that's awesome. But it's like, no, there's definitely more that can come from that. So just kind of understanding that, when you're looking at social media, it may be intimidating per se, right? You don't know how to navigate it, who to work with, does this follower count versus, who's just authentic in themselves kind of thing. But just realize social media, what we're doing as far as the marketing, the advertising, it's not any different than any other business relationship, right? You're not going to work with somebody that, hey, they do a good job, but they're really hard to work with. You can never get in contact with them. They make your job harder than it needs to be, right? So working with, influencers is a very good option because they have that experience. They know their audiences. You know who they are. You can look at their page and be like, Pluff Mud's son threw a rod off the kayak the other day. Like, I know what's going on. So having that kind of, relationship, having that partnership, mutually beneficial, that's what you really want to look for to whatever way you decide to go. Because like you said, Jake does in-house. He's an amazing, genuine guy. Anastasia does tournament. It's amazing, genuine people. Patricia has, the social media along with Snookie. We're all very authentic people. And like I said, it's just creating those relationships, I guess, is more than anything, whatever way you decide to go. Sorry.
I'm 51. I know I don't look it, right? But I like to talk to... Right?
No, you don't.
I didn't even know that. That's right. Yeah, I'm 51. So I've been in the industry for 3 years. I had no intentions on being an influencer. I just wanted people to catch fish and enjoy the outdoors like I was. So I was like, why aren't you doing this? Go fishing. So I had to learn all this. So to the 50 plus or 40 plus people, don't be intimidated. It's various ways that you can partner with influencers. Sometimes it's monetary, sometimes it's products, sometimes it's services. I have partnerships where I can go to resorts, where I can take out boats, and they don't have to pay anything because I get that. It's like a give and take because I'm promoting what I do and just encouraging other people to do it. So don't be intimidated at your age or I have to learn something new, I can't afford an influencer.
And Jake, do you mind repeating the question?
Of course. What's it like being a contracted influencer with a company, and what's kind of your experience working for these companies?
Okay. So my experience has been kind of like figuring out what do I want my brand to look like and how do I want to build those relationships, because I'm very much kind of extending out, trying to look for like that second group of family, like I want the long-term relationships where, like Anastasia said, if something goes wrong on the water, I can make a phone call and they're right there for me. They're going to help me through it. Or on the flip side, if I meet someone like Patricia, or if I am hosting a women's on the water day, or I do kids events as well, and I also work with special needs kids, like, are they going to step up and bring product out for me? Are they going to help me market this and create that handshake with other people to just bring more opportunities for more people? Because that's what it's about. We're supposed to share the enjoyment of fishing and keep this going on for the next generation. So that's kind of what I'm looking for in my experience with it.
Awesome. So when working with an influencer, it's more than just our face on your page. You're assuming our audience, and all of us do in-person activations. Everyone talked about stuff they've done in person too. So if you have events anywhere around the country, we can really help touch the people and fold that in to what you're doing online as well. So with these posts we do with brands, there's a few different options to go about it as a brand. Whether you just choose to do one post with the creator, a campaign for a product or a brand awareness campaign, or a long-term relationship. And we've heard all three of those from everybody. I want to ask you guys, what has been your best experience with a brand? Has it been just doing singular posts? I lost my train of thought. Campaigns or long-term relationships? What have you guys found the most success in?
I would say for me, success definitely has been found in the long-term relationships. Not necessarily just because I'm a tournament angler, but that's just how I am. I love to hunt, I love to fish, I love the Lord. If you know me, you know those things about me. And having a firm foundation with the person that you're going to use from the beginning, I wouldn't want to hire, if I was looking to hire someone who I didn't believe in or didn't believe in my brand, or they didn't value things that I valued, and they didn't see the brand going the same way that I did. So I would definitely say if you are looking to hire an influencer, make sure that just because they're a cute face or that they have 100,000 followers or they have 1 million followers, even if you have 5 followers, you have the benefit to influence. There's actually a lady in the room today that I was like, oh my gosh, where did you get that dress from? And she told me, and I went ahead and ordered it 5 seconds later. That is influencing. Or if you see someone doing something a certain way on YouTube, or even just here at the show, they tied a certain knot, you go home and you learn how to do it. That's influence. And even like I work with Toyota, when I was getting a truck, I looked at 4 different trucks that other people had, and there was a certain person who had one. I was like, oh, I'm kind of like them, so maybe that's going to be more comfortable for me. So I think long-term partnerships and relationships kind of come together. But there are certain things, especially if you have, there's a product coming out on this day, or we're running a sale for this week, that you only need that 1, 2, 3 posts sort of thing for. So just kind of knowing what the market is for what you're looking for is very important. And then just one more thing to kind of say that if you're, especially, the women in the industry are the biggest they've ever been. We saw that this morning at the breakfast. If you're a woman, learning from other women is really important. So if you're trying to go and market to a certain group, or if you're saying, I want to market this to all kids 12 and under, there's no way you should have someone 75 as the spokesperson of that, right? So kind of knowing who you're marketing to is really important. And if it's a product that's for everyone, make it for everyone and have multiple different faces kind of showing off that product.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. And like I said, Anastasia was kind of saying, if you have that kind of one-off deal where, you just need a video at a certain time and we only need the one video, it's a lot better in the longevity of things to have that partnership, to have that mutually beneficial relationship, to have somebody that not only you can support, but can support your company just as well. So, hey, you have that one-off video. Well, I have this guy or this gal that's been working with me for a long time. I know they know who my company is. I know they already support me. I know they can speak confidently about my company, and I don't have to worry about that or paying them. A lot of times, working with new companies that haven't had a lot of experience with social media, you'll see these price lists and set price lists, and they, you got to pay this, and they're like, well, we don't have the budget for that. And it's like, well, if you want to do a one-off set thing, you could work that way, and if you have the budget, absolutely, work with that influencer, whoever. But at the same time, creating that relationship, creating that partnership to where, there's not just a one-way street. These people can depend on you just as much as you can depend on them. You're not going to post one video, that video gets taken down 30 days later and you never hear from the person, right? You have somebody that really believes in your product as much as you believe in them. So find those people that support your companies and support them. That's really what it's about, those long relationships, partnerships.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. When it comes to relationships, I prefer long-term relationships. And I also look at the organizations, the same way you're checking us out, we're checking you out too. Community service is very important to me. I'm a retired police officer. Again, I know I don't look retired, but I am. In the last 10 years of my career, I did community police and outreach because me growing up in Brooklyn, New York, I got in trouble as a kid. And maybe if somebody would have took the time to take me out fishing or take me to the mall or do whatever, I wouldn't have got in trouble and got kicked out of high school at 15. So one of my commitments when I was a police officer was to take kids while they're young so we don't have to lock them up when they're old. So community service is important to me. So that's one thing I look at in a brand is community outreach.
Yeah, I think all of these women have completely just left me with nothing else to say. But thanks, ladies. But anyways, I think the original question was kind of comparing one-term posts to long-term relationships. You already know that I said that I like the long-term relationships, but honestly, I have had a positive engagement with companies for short-term and long-term, although I do prefer the long-term, because I think that it does give you an opportunity to kind of expand what you're looking for. And if you do your research and you spend time like looking at the company and figuring out what they've done, and maybe even interviewing. I've done that plenty of times. I've gotten a DM on Instagram, hey, we'll send you this if you do this. And it's like, who are you? Hold up. Let's make a phone call. Can we set up a conference call? Let me talk to you. Let me figure out what y'all are doing. What's your outreach and your community service like? Like, is this product something that I'm going to authentically use, or you just need I guess body would be an appropriate way to say it, like a face to fill the need. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. I want to, call my buddy and be like, hey man, I just got off the water catfishing or, sight fishing for Kobe, and I used this lure and it was awesome. Like, we smoked them. Like, that's what I want to say. I don't want to be up there trying to sell something that I don't believe in. So.
Great answers from everyone. Thank you. So with that, social media can kind of be confusing if you're just starting, like you don't know what to do, but broadly, there's 3 pillars that will help you stay focused long-term: creativity, consistency, and compensation. You have to be creative. You can use your strengths, either as a person or your brand, to your advantage to create unique content. Or, I don't suggest this, but you can copy somebody and what they're already doing. Put your own spin on it. But you can take somebody's formula that's already working and put that to your brand and your content. And then you have to be consistent. You can't just hire Patricia to do one piece of content every month and then think you're done on social media for the whole month. You have to hire all of them to post once a week, or you have to hire Patricia, do that one post, and then feed off her post. If it's about a fishing rod and she does that, then you post 4 more Instagram reels about that fishing rod, or tell stories of someone using that fishing rod in the following week. You have to stay consistent. The third is compensation. You're not always going to pay for social media. You can do it yourself, but an easy way to start is to work with an influencer or hire out. But it's easier to partner with somebody who knows what they're doing. If you have no idea what you're doing on social media and no reference, you can buy them and work with them, and they can give you their expertise on what to do. You don't just get those posts. Like, you'll be on the phone with them, and you'll be picking up advice all over the place on what to do for your social media. But you also always don't have to pay. I know Katie Joe's had a few examples where she worked with a brand that she loved, and she traded for products. Can you talk about that, Katie?
Yeah, so is the mic on? Okay, awesome. Sorry. So like I said, I spoke just before about that support, you know what I mean? And we talked about budgets. I think a lot of times people think, they equate these millions of followers to these big, large numbers. And, depending on your industry you're in, sure, you can work with them. If it works well for you, absolutely. But at the same time, when it comes down to support and it comes down to having those really mutual beneficial relationships, support doesn't just come from the monetary, right? I know all of us have kind of felt how kind of winter coming into spring has been for all of us. Business has been kind of slow, right? There has been some budget reallocations. We can't afford social media. But those companies have been very supportive of me. They've been very beneficial to what I have going on, my journey, my business. And so, hey, we don't have the budgets to work with you anymore. That's okay, okay? There's support that can come from more than just monetary compensation, okay? Having that connection we talked about a little earlier, having that support, that can go way further than any dollar sign can on an influencer that, you shouldn't even maybe purchase, worked with in the beginning. So definitely create that support, create that, yeah, thank you.
And if you don't have the budget right now, like she said, all you have to do is pick up your iPhone and start creating yourself. It only takes time. You have a camera right here. You can get a free editing app, and you can post to all these channels for free. No cost at all. One of the biggest things right now is creator stories. So if you're the creator of your company, you can tell that story online, and that's what's connecting across the board on all platforms right now. So if you don't have a budget, pick up the phone yourself, go on YouTube, learn a little bit, and start there. A lot of times working at my company, some of the older guys will get a request, and some of the older guys will be like, oh, can you just post that right now? I'm like, no, there's so much involved in this. I can't do this right this second. I have to create all this content. What are you talking about? some people don't have the frame of reference. So I want you guys to talk about what goes into creating content. It's not just as simple as snap a picture on your iPhone and you're done. There's a lot more to it. There's phone calls you get on, especially if you're an influencer. You're going to be talking with the brands back and forth. There's edits. There's so much involved. So Anastasia, what have you experienced behind the scenes of content creation?
Yes, so I've been involved in a whole lot of different content shoots, from print to television shows to just Instagram, that sort of thing. Depending on what the content is you're trying to put out, obviously it depends on what goes into it. But from my standpoint, I always like to know what the deliverables are for that. So on the day of the shoot, are you expecting me to already be dressed? Do you have clothes for me there? Are we going to be on the boat? Are we going to fly there? Am I going to drive there? Because a lot of us live really busy lives, especially if you are a tournament angler, and I might have to be in California on the Delta one day and then next week be in New York, and then by that weekend make it to Florida, right? So if your content is something you need in 2 days, a lot of times I'm going to tell you, hey, I've got to get this content done today so I can get it to you. And if it's something that's going to be a long term, like I've got 2 weeks to do it, that looks a lot different. So knowing kind of what the content is that you're setting up for is also very important. However, if y'all have ever heard like your grandfather say, or even your dad say, or maybe even your mom say, prior proper planning prevents poor performance. If I plan properly for what I'm going to put out there, I know what what the vision is for what I'm doing, instead of just putting content out there, because not all content is good content, right? Not everything that we come up with in our brains should probably be used. That's just the truth of it. But our brains are like tackle boxes, right? So we all start with a brain. We're putting in different information all the time. And then I tell you something and you add it to your arsenal. That looks different for everyone. But whenever we're working on something together, our tackle boxes have to look pretty similar. Our brains need to look similar so that we know exactly what we're working on and the purpose of that. And then also, furthermore, whenever you take that tackle box to the content or like down to the water, you need to know, okay, well, what does this look like now? What are we supposed to be casting out? Are we going to fish for hydrilla? Are we going to fish cypress? That sort of thing is what you need to know. And then also the capability of the influencer, because we all know that just like with our brains are all on different levels, everyone's on different levels. So am I trying to do something for a beginner, an advanced angler? Is this something that you're going to have to be a captain for 50 years to know? And then also for reference, just to know the strong suits of that person, because you don't want the influencer to be uncomfortable doing the job that you've given them to do, because then it seems like it's not real. And relating to the customer is the #1 thing that you're trying to do.
That was great.
Yeah, so like I said, when you think about content or you see these videos, you see online on social media, honestly, how I got started, right? I love to fish. I was home with my little boy at the time. I'm a licensed vet tech, so I wasn't working at the time. Scrolling through these videos on, TikTok at the time, and silliest videos. Think of the silliest video you've probably seen today on social media, just today, right? And you're like, why does this have 9 million likes and 300,000 million views? Like, this doesn't make any sense. This was the silliest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, right? But it did really, really well, right? And so when you think of that, you're like, oh, okay, they've edited, they put content, they put the transitions, they put all the audio into it, and that does take time, right? When you work with influencers, we have that expertise, we have that, ability to do those things for you. But at the same time, how many people brushed their teeth this morning? I need more hands than that, goodness gracious. Yeah, right, us up here too. So we are real people, right, okay? Just because we are on social media and you see us on social media doesn't mean that we don't have things going on in our own lives, okay? I just recently lost my son's father. Doesn't mean that the campaign stop and the things that I have going on stop, right? It does mean I take some time for myself and kind of readjust, but at the same time, just understanding that the people that you want to work with social media-wise need to be the people that you want to be friends with in real life, okay? Just realize that there's a lot that goes into it, but we're still real people. So just compensating who that person is, what they have going on in their life. We do this, and I've been fortunate to, pay some bills and keep a roof over my head, but it does pay my bills and keep a roof over my head. So amazing opportunities, but also just that relationship as well. It goes further than just editing the content and putting it out there, so.
Right. I would say the same thing. So me being Rivah sister, I promote river life, whether that's camping, fishing, relaxing, crabbing, boating. So somebody could tell me they want a crab video. I want you to catch a crab in my county next week. Okay, they may not be biting. I mean, I could throw chicken in the string and be there for hours and can't create the content. So it's a lot of pressure, when somebody says, oh, it must be nice to live your best life. It is, but it does come with a price and it comes with deadlines. So again, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a small business owner, I'm a friend. I have to answer text messages, read email, drink water, exercise. So it's a lot in content creation. It's not as easy as people think.
Yeah, drinking water is important. So I think I've done it in a few different elements. Just for example, if there's any guides or any guide services out that have a small business?
Guides?
No? Okay. So if you as a guide service need new content, say you're getting a new website, or maybe you've got a big event, or you just want it for your own profile, one of the things that I'll do is say, hey, if you take me fishing and you teach me how to do something that I don't already know how to do, then I won't charge you to go on the boat, because I realize that, gas is expensive and you have a life. So I'll do the content for you, and then we can partner that way. So that's one of the things that I've done in the past. I've also worked for boating shows and fishing shows. So if you're looking at that, that's a consumer. So what is my product? My product is selling the experience, telling the story, and getting people to be interested in what is the new technology in the industry, what is the new products. So being able to put all that together and expand on it and really just make people feel what are your core questions before you create your content. Are you trying to, sell a feeling? Do you want to encourage somebody to come out to an event? What are those end deliverables, like Anastasia was saying, that you want to achieve?
The influencer or the creator has to make sense for your brand and your audience. In my case, Mudhole is a custom rod building company, and I had a custom rod building business and was already making social media, so it made perfect sense. Don't be afraid to ask the influencers who their audience is. Don't be afraid to ask for numbers and demographics to see who they are and what it looks like behind the scenes, because you don't want to get 20 hours in and 5 meetings in and realize this is not the right person. You can ask questions, and everyone's open and receptive to answers and to figuring out if they're the right person. And I know all of them would tell you, hey, I don't think I'm the right person for you, but we know people who are, and we can recommend people. No one's going to try to people could try to take advantage of you, but nobody up here will. You're safe with these guys up here. So where should you start today? If you want to get into social media and you're doing nothing, what would you guys pick if you only had one platform you could start on?
Honestly, if I only had one platform I could start on, I would say Facebook, because I feel like Facebook is super easy and you could post everything from just words to reels to videos to photos. And then also, every person on Facebook that you invite to your page, so your initial friends, if you say, hey, like this and share it to 10 people, then they might share it to 15 people who share it to 15 more. I feel like on Facebook, I work at a duck hunting club, and it's the easiest thing whenever I say, oh, our wait list is open. If you want to be on the wait list, tag your friend who you want to hunt with you. I automatically go up 500 followers every time, and we're a very small duck hunting club. And that is people who are actually wanting to come to the business to hunt, right? Obviously, and then if they get on the wait list, next year they might have new friends. So that, I think Facebook probably might be the best one for me, also because Facebook is very user-friendly as opposed to having to make lots of videos. And the algorithm for Facebook, you don't have to post every single day, all hours of the day. It's just as long as you're consistent, you're probably getting some traffic.
Absolutely, I would agree with that. So if I had to be professionally and say, which platform should you start on? I would say Facebook or Instagram are great options, right? But at the same time, if you want to start, just begin. Just begin. Whatever platform you are comfortable on, you have a little following on already with your your company, just begin there. I have so many, not to say smaller companies, but people that don't have the in-house to do the social media or don't have the know-how to do it themselves. And, well, how can we get more into social media? We don't have the budget and we don't want to work with these people. We just want to do it on our own. It's like, Well, you're not even posting photos of your products. You're not even, putting yourself out there. If you're not going to market yourself till you're able to have somebody market for you, then where do you begin, So just putting those still photos out there, putting some photos from iCast out there, tagging the people you work with in it, just getting your name out there. That's really where it's going to, come from. So it doesn't matter where you start, just begin. Absolutely.
Right. I say start small. I know we're on the limelight, but I want to ask you, is there anybody here who does not have a social media page? Raise your hand.
Who doesn't have a social media for their company?
If you do not. Okay, everybody have one. So those pictures that you have in your phone, how many of you have pictures that you've taken of your product, service, or business and you didn't post it? Raise your hand. Okay, I see some hands. Just post it. Just get started. Just start small and be consistent.
Yeah, I think that just getting started is the most important, but I do want to highlight that Instagram does allow you to work with creators and do collaborations. So if you need an opportunity to kind of get started and don't really know what to do, you can always go through Instagram and make that connection.
So all of you guys already have social media. If you had to shift to one platform or focus your time on only one thing, I would say right now, put it on Instagram. TikTok was like the king for the last 2 years. But you can see almost everything you see on TikTok on Instagram at the same time nowadays. Most creators are posting to Reels right away versus you would see stuff on Instagram Reels 2 weeks later when you saw it on TikTok. But you can also cross-post to Facebook as well. I think Instagram has the best, easiest algorithm to follow trends and create original content with right now. So if you had to pick one, I would do Instagram at the moment. And I had another slide planned called Getting Started Today to show you if anybody didn't know what to do, but you guys already all have socials, but all you need is an iPhone, a tripod. You don't even need an external mic, but it's good to have. And then one of these editing platforms on your phone or your computer. Like Alan mentioned, when I first came up, I gained 100,000 followers for the company I work at, all on my phone, all using that InShot editing app. It's like $2.99 a month for the paid version, but it's so worth it. And you can do that as well. Also, a few data and management things just to keep you on track, especially if you have to manage this and plan it out over time. Hootsuite is great for tracking numbers and doing competitive analysis between you and other businesses in your niche. I can literally take Mudhole that I work at and compare it to Tackle Warehouse or Sixth Sense or any business in the fishing industry and see how many times they're posting, what content is working for them, all types of analytics. And then also I use Asana or Monday every day to keep track of all my posts and what I'm going to post coming up. That pretty much wraps it up. Did you guys want to add anything else that we missed or you wanted to talk more about?
I guess I just wanted to just touch briefly, because we had spoken about it, just especially in our day and age, where social media is such a big thing, right? We are all very guilty of being on social media at least once a day, whether we even pick up our phone, you got a Facebook notification, right? But just seeing that, hey, social media is a lot of lights, cameras, actions, that glamour kind of thing, so when you're looking at who to work with, what is the best route to go for my marketing, my advertising, because understand that social media and what we do is your marketing and your advertising. It's not a completely separate kind of thing, right? So just finding those people that are authentic, that care about your company, and want to support you just as much as you want to support them. And like we all mentioned, it does not have to always be monetarily. It can definitely just be that support and working with people that you trust and believe in just as much as you put that trust and belief into them. So.
Yeah, and I'd like to add.
Well said.
Am I off? Can I add something?
Of course.
I am famous for being the blooper queen, so do not feel like you have to overproduce your content. If you, like he was saying, if you just have a cell phone, that's good enough. Don't be afraid to post something stupid you did in the office, or if you get your product and it's not exactly what you wanted, you can do before and after. This is where the idea started, or this or that. And like I said, I want to see more bloopers out there so I don't feel alone in this world.
I'll post some next week.
Thank you.
Before we get into the questions, I just want to say every influencer here is available for hire for your brand, either to create content or to consult for you. Like I said, it's a great place to start. They know what they're doing. you can pay them to get on the phone with them and ask what to do for your business. And you can talk to them after and get their business card. Do we have any questions? We have a microphone here. We'll walk around the show and ask some questions. Yes, sir. Mustache fella.
Hello.
Hello.
So I actually work at TikTok, TikTok Shop specifically.
Wow.
So a little disappointed that no one said TikTok was their platform of choice.
Sorry.
But shameless plug, if you're interested in TikTok Shop, come holler at me. Happy to talk more about it. But one of the things, regardless of the platform that a brand is on, is messaging and outreach to creators. And oftentimes a lot of the brands that I work with in the sports and outdoor space, fishing specifically, they get caught up on what to say to the creator as part of their initial outreach. So as folks on the receiving end, what are you looking at or looking for in the messaging that sellers or brands are kind of highlighting in their potential for collaboration with you?
So whenever it comes to tackle, I'm looking for products that I know actually work. So if I see someone like who's fishing in a pond, I'm not a pond fisherman, it's probably not something I'm gonna go for right away. If I see someone who's, let's say Kevin Van Dam's the one who's putting it out there, I'm automatically influenced. But that's because we always associate something with a brand, right? So how Katie Jo said earlier, Pluff Mud Princess is her brand, and I know, oh, Pluff Mud Princess works with X, Y, and Z. Now I am a fan of X, Y, and Z simply because of one person. But on TikTok Shop also, with that being an app where you can scroll a lot and you see a lot of content and you kind of get lost in the content sometimes, I'll see things on there and I'm like, oh, this is something I want to try. So I'll order it. And even off of TikTok, even at the show today, I've seen a lot of stuff and I'm like, I would love to try this. And they're like, oh, we'd love to work with you. I'm like, let me try it first, make sure it's something that I am comfortable and believe in before I make that commitment to you full time. I think that's really important. If someone is pushing like, oh, I'm ready to be with you today, and they've never heard of your brand before, that should honestly be a red flag in the sense of like, you don't really know me, unless you have created a relationship with them so fast that it's like, I've known you my whole life, we have to do this deal. That's where the phone calls, that sort of stuff comes in for me for sure.
I have a question back for you. So if you didn't hear him, he works for TikTok Shop, which is like a huge opportunity that the fishing industry hasn't really grasped yet. Some independent people have, and they're selling everyone else's product, but I haven't seen a lot of brands on there. And we looked into it for our company, which has a pretty good distribution and fulfillment center on our premises. Is TikTok Shop advantageous for larger businesses at the moment?
Yeah, so we have what's called Fulfilled by TikTok, which is a fulfillment network that we're building out. Think similar to Fulfilled by Amazon if you're an Amazon seller. So right now there are some limitations on heavy, bulky, but if you're not selling large exercise equipment, which a lot of, I think, the stuff that's going to do well in the fishing category would fit the dimensions and requirements for our Fulfilled by TikTok network. So we don't purchase the inventory, we hold the inventory for you. So it makes it a lot easier if you don't want to drop ship or if you have a limited fulfillment network. But yes, we do have that.
Okay, so you can drop ship or ship out of your own facility?
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
Or you can send it to TikTok specifically.
Okay. He's going to be a good guy to talk to after you talk to the influencers if you own a business.
I almost forgot my question. That was great.
Hello.
Hello. What advice as influencers do you guys have for a small nonprofit, like one that I work for, where we don't have the budget to hire an influencer, but that we want to, in my case, get more females outdoors? Also, in my case, more Hispanics outdoors. So it's like very niche. And we might not have the budget or a product to trade. Do you guys have any tips for working with nonprofits or for nonprofits to reach out to influencers?
And
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So I was going to say, it doesn't have to be necessarily, I love what you do. Nonprofits are amazing. And like I said, there's so many fabulous things with the initiatives and everything y'all doing. But this could apply to small companies as well, not just specifically nonprofits. So, when you're looking at, we want to work with somebody, but we don't necessarily have the budget to work with them, we've already said that's okay. There are still people, when you look at content creation, there's people who started, like, all of us at the beginning of our journeys, where I started it for fun. I started it for, I thought it was cool to make some funny fishing videos, and people thought it was funny. I was like, great, and it grew from there. So, starting with those people that, hey, they don't have 50,000, 100 million followers, but they're a Hispanic in my area, and they love to fish, and, she's growing her following, and she would be a really good person to work with and kind of help grow them as well. So just forming those partnerships that I have a lot of companies I work with here today that, like, hey, I'm not, being paid monetarily from them, but there's so much that I get from them through that support, and just, hey, you can't afford to do a whole, 30-second video, but your creator or whoever you're working with can share your post onto their page, and that shares it to their audience. It's simple things like that, commenting on your things and stuff like that. So then your audience is already like, well, who's this, woman commenting on this post? That's cool. And it just ties it all together. There's simple things that you can do just right now today, talking with people on the show floor, to get yourself out there. Just get yourself out there. That's the most thing. Just having that exposure, really.
I would like to add to that. I would say partner with somebody that's already doing it. What state are you in? Florida. Okay, so Florida, somebody is trying to reach diversity, because me as an African American woman, I partner with Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources. We do have an app called Explore the Wild. So Rivah, Sistah, my goal was to get more African American women out. So what I would do was partner. I can't afford to get all the women out. So you partner with an agency that's already doing it. So if an agency in Florida is targeting Hispanics, and you partner with them, they can hire the influencer and just expose you and the other Hispanics.
Yeah, I'd like to
So
add
just
to
like to add one thing. Whenever you were saying that was like, oh, I would love to hear a story like that just straight from you. Like saying, this is the outreach that I'm trying to do. This is the nonprofit that I have. These are the things that I stand on, the principles that I'm looking for in the people, because it's just really encouraging whenever you see someone who looks like you in a space that's trying. And people want to know that it's tough sometimes. Not everyone wants to see perfection, because a lot of times that's a goal that no one will ever reach, right? We'll say, oh, we came out with the best of show thing at ICAST. And even though it was the best this year, you could put something in next year you think's 100 times better, and people not bat an eye to that, to something else. So I think the most encouraging thing I could tell you is just be you, use yourself. And it can be very intimidating to put yourself out there for something that you believe in and think that other people don't believe in that. But I've even had to do that myself. Like, put your best foot forward, and if you fail, you fail, but if you fly, then that's awesome.
Can I add something?
I 100% agree with Anastasia. No. If you want, after this, we'll do a case study where we will help you film that video, and we can share your socials, and everyone can follow along and see if it does good. But life's about helping the next generation, the next people in line. So if you make that video and it's compelling and it does well, that's a TikTok video through and through. If you do that on TikTok and it does well, you will find the people in your area, because that's how TikTok works, and they will come to you and help you. But we'll help you make that video if you want after this. What's your social handle for the company? What is it? Tampa Bay Kayak Anglers. Y'all follow that, and we'll see if we can make it work. Did you have something?
I do. I think that best practices would be always understand and believe in your core values, and that there is power in community. I would not be sitting here if I had to give a speech like the red carpet and thank everybody. We would be having a Santa Claus list of people, because that creating the handshake and being there for people is so powerful. So when you're a nonprofit and you're looking to have somebody come help you work and do whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish with your deliverables, don't be afraid to think outside the box. So just an idea for you. I don't know if you guys have a high school or a college fishing team, but college students and high school students need to build their resume. So that could be the exchange that you're looking for is, hey, you come out with me, I need content, I want to, do some outreach work. And then they can add that to their resume. Maybe you'll write a nice letter for them for a job or some type of opportunity that they need in the future.
Also, at the back of the room, I see some guys from the Latin American Bass Anglers Association. They can definitely help you and give you some encouragement for what to do. It's right back there. Wave your hands. Yeah, perfect.
She's
Yeah.
like, yeah, she's good with it.
They can help you. I fished an event with them
Serendipity.
myself, so.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Cool. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name's Sam. Am I on? There.
Yes.
Hey, my name's Sam White. I'm with the History of Sport Fishing. We're a 12-episode docu-series that is launching in the fourth quarter of this year. And I'm building our online presence for that digital product. And my question is, as someone myself who is, I am not an online content creator, but I do very much enjoy meeting people face to face and having conversations. So when I started reaching out to digital creators and asking for their attention so I could talk about partnering in different things, it was definitely outside of my comfort zone. And as a business, as we start to target relationships in different niches of fishing, specifically so that content is on point with different episodes that we have in our series, with the niche within fishing that is represented by the content creators like y'all. How have y'all worked with other companies on the back end side? Is there a way to manage that collaboration so that you know your efforts are being tracked from a data standpoint, that then the business and you as the content creator can both look at and say, here's the reach, here's the impact. I know that Instagram and other apps have their own data, but is there a way that y'all have worked with other bigger businesses that you say, like, I love working this way? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still all for, hey, pick up the phone and call me. I want that relationship. But, you know, a CRM, is there anything that you would recommend to someone like myself who is building this digital outreach and is wanting to partner, you know, with people like you?
So I will just say, you know, going into something, anything, not only social media, getting into anything new is scary, right? You don't know what to expect, especially when you're investing money into something, right? Am I going to get that ROI? Is it going to be worth it for me, right? And so a lot of people, you know, when they try to get into social media or they try to get a general understanding of what's going to be beneficial for my business, they get into like those analytics and what are the views and what is the click-through rate and what is, you know, all that information, and that is very helpful. It is very helpful. You know, it helps us kind of understand what we're doing a little more. But I will say authenticity over analytics, right? I could study my analytics till I'm blue in the face and be like, yeah, this one video will probably do well, but next week it's going to change, right? That algorithm is always changing. So just working with people that believe in you. Like, you know, we kind of, even with being with iCast this year, you know, we had the first year, 2 years ago, we had one influencer, and then last year we had a few of us, and then, you know, this year we're blessed to work with these amazing ladies. But just understanding that you don't have to have one person that fits that niche for everything. I think, you know, having the collab of minds and really being able to kind of work with people that could benefit your company and just get that exposure out there. It's much better to have, you know, a few people talking about your company and what you're doing in your docuseries versus one person that has 1 million followers and that video flops and it just doesn't do as well as they expected, right? Versus having 5, 6 people who believe in what you're doing and are talking about it because they're passionate about it. You know, that's really going to stand the test of time versus how many likes and clicks throughs did I get on that video, you know, because that's going to something time and time again. That authenticity is going to stand the test of time, really. So I hope that was helpful. Thanks.
I think you also want to be very clear on your expectations. If I heard your question right, you might not need 1 million views. You might need to hit a small group of 50,000 people in Florida. And if that creator has that audience, they might not need to create a viral video, but create a targeted video. And then I think after, you would just reconvene and talk about how it went, and through email or over the phone. I don't know if there's a service necessarily, but yes, you can use Hootsuite, or there's a bunch of different services to show analytics, or just the back end of the app. Does that answer your question between those two?
Oh yeah, I think it gave me direction on it. I think I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed on managing relationships that I've never managed before. I mean, I've managed salespeople, you know, but getting into the content creation world, it's a lot of independent contractors, and they want to, and I want the artists to be able to work the way that they want to work. Mm-hmm. So trying to figure out how to manage that, you know, if we are lucky enough to have 20 content creators that want to work with us.
I'd like to add something.
Thank you.
and it's very inexpensive, a screenshot of reading comments. When we make a post, if it's helpful, people will say thank you, I learned something. You can just make a video and read the comments. If people don't like it, you know social media, they're gonna tell you. If they do like it, they're gonna say it. They're gonna say it. So if somebody says, like, I didn't know people didn't know the difference between a male and a female crab. So when I said it one time and people said, I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. So okay, now I know I need more of that. If people say thank you, just pay attention to the comments. That's easy. You can just read comments.
Yeah, I think management tools are a dime a dozen. Like, it just depends on exactly what you're looking for. But from an insight perspective, don't be afraid to ask us, like, hey, how is this video performing? I need the actual analytics. A best practice that I found, actually Vibe Kayaks is the one that introduced it to me. It's called Brand Champ. So instead of him, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Whenever we would do pro staffers and we would ask for content creation, he would ask us to post a video, and then we copy the link, post it into that platform, and then it gives him information, and then we can use that to, if we hit a certain, like, say 500 likes, then we would get points. The points then add up to gift cards, and then we could use the gift cards to purchase things that we need for kayaking. So that's one. I don't know if that helps answer it, but just don't be afraid to have tiers either. Like, your influencers might have different backgrounds. So like Anastasia's going to be, she's a tournament angler, so she might have different needs than someone like me who does events and marketing and boat shows and kids stuff. So don't be afraid to ask for or kind of like break down those tiers of marketing that you need.
Just have a conversation with them.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, sir. Or ma'am. I can't see back there. Ma'am.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
I have a question from the influencing side of things. You're looking to start building relationships and partnerships with these different companies. I know realistically I can't just sit back and wait for them to come to me. So if I'm trying to put myself out there in a way that seems marketable, mutually beneficial for these companies that I enjoy working, that I want to work with, that I enjoy using their products already. If I'm trying to create, let's say, something like a media kit or something that's kind of concise to tell who I am very quickly, that grabs their attention, what have you guys learned from these companies are like the most vital statistics that they want to see that they find valuable? Following is one thing. Followers is great to see a high number, but I know engagement, demographics, all of that within that matters too. So I guess from those companies, what have you guys learned is the most valuable to them that they want to see from you on your social media following?
So you're an influencer and you want to pitch companies and you want to have the best media kit possible, essentially?
Yes.
Okay. So what have y'all found success with? What analytics or numbers or strategies do you pitch?
Okay, I'll try to sum it up really fast because I know the time's kind of getting over for the lunch and learn. However, whenever you do your media kit, you have to have an about me, something that's about you. This is the first time ever seeing you. Your media kit is a juiced up resume that has everything about you, what you've been in print, what tournaments you fish, where you fish, how many videos you put out a month, what your numbers look like on each platform. So in my media kit, you can find the analytics, a photo, the exact number of followers I had the day that I sent it to you, and also keeping that information relative to their company and also relative to you and what you're doing, because you don't want to say, hey, I need this money to go fish these things, and then next month you say, oh, I don't really want to be a pond fisherman anymore, I want to go fish the Bassmaster Opens, because you didn't need different money to do those different things. So knowing that from the get-go, and then also how they can contact you afterwards, because a lot of these deals are not going to happen the first day that you send them. And a lot of today and this whole week at ICAST, you're going to see companies and then they're going to talk to 500 other people. So they might be interested in you, but they need that comeback. So coming back after the show and saying a follow-up, and then if 3 to 6 months go by from now, a lot of people's budget isn't right now. It's going to be later on in the year whenever they're going to be able to do stuff for next year. So if you start using their brand today and putting out content for them, not necessarily for free, but for fun because you believe in them, they see that, then that's how you can kind of start doing things later. And I know you, so you can message me about Media Kit.
think that was a great. I was just saying that's a great answer on the media kit. All I would say, just for advice, and this goes right back to companies, right? Like, how do I work with these companies? Because I know a lot of times, like even within our space of content creation, we will see other content creators work with certain brands, and well, hey, how'd you start working with them? Did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? And when you're starting off, just like any company would do, put yourself out there, put your name out there. This is the place to market yourself, to network, to meet these faces, to meet these people. Because 2 years ago when I came here, I was like, hi, I'm Pluff Mud Princess. And they're like, you want a t-shirt, like koozie, what you want? And I'm like, no, I just came to say hi. And now 2 years later, those people have become friends of mine. They became acquaintances. They're people I look forward to seeing at these shows, because just as much as you know in life, you never know where life is going to take you, and those connections, those networking can go way farther than any kind of business deal that you could sit down and do in person. So make those connections, have fun, enjoy the time while you're here, and just put yourself out there. If you're not marketing yourself, who is,
Agreed.
Be authentic. Don't be ashamed to start small. I know my market. My market is people who've never fished or experienced outdoors, not somebody that's been fishing for 20 years. That's not my market. So just know your market, stay authentic, and stay true to yourself.
Yeah, I would say let your personality shine, because there's only one you, so don't be afraid. And I can say this because I know, even sitting in front of y'all, I'm a little nervous, but like coming to my first ICAST many moons ago, I was terrified to go up to a company and pitch. But now, thanks to, being engaged with the girls and learning all the little ins and outs, I've realized that I'm unique to myself, and that's only one person in a million people. So I go to a company, I pitch them with my personality and who I am, what I stand for, how I was raised, and the fact that I actually use their products and I know it and I like it, and it's made my life on the water easier. So I would say that's your best shot.
Awesome. That's all the time we have for questions. We just want to say thank you to Alan and the whole ASA staff for putting this on. We hope you guys gained a lot of value out of this. All of us will stay up here and answer as many questions as you have. Thank you for coming, and thank you to all the influencers for giving all the information to the panel.